For Princess Cruises, the new Sun Princess is a radical departure from the ships it's been putting into service over the past 25 years. It's new, it's fresh, but does it work? Is it a hit with Princess passengers, or have they missed the mark? Early reviews were mixed, but we've given the ship a chance to mature like a fine wine before we sailed. My name's Andrew, and welcome back to Tidal Horizons. This is just one of our deep dive videos on Sun Princess and the new Sphere class of ships. If you are a fan of Princess Cruises, hit the like and subscribe buttons now, and be sure to check out our other videos on our Sun Princess playlist and ask questions in the comments. I always try and respond to everyone. If you're just one of those people that has to be on the inaugural sailing of a new ship, more power to you. But ships like the Sun Princess that are a new class of ship need some time to mature before you can really review them. Sure, I can tell you all about the beautiful decorations, but let's get down to details. Many of the new features weren't even online when the initial reviews were done.
Good morning.
Let's kick things off with the Piazza, because when you walk on board, experienced Princess passengers will instantly see the design difference here, and it's amazing. The Piazza is now outward looking, as they say, and you can see the ocean from all levels. They've moved the staircases back from the Piazza to give more space, and another really nice touch is the tiered seating on the upper level to allow you to relax and watch the show. The LCD screen, the upgraded lighting and sound technology all come together to make this a much more versatile space. One major improvement has been the sound system, because on the Royal class ships it can be deafening in the venues around the Piazza. Even though our stateroom quite literally shared a wall with the third level of the Piazza area, specifically the future cruise area, we weren't disturbed by the sound at all. Nor were we bothered by some of the foot traffic down the hallways towards the Piazza from the forward elevators. This really is the heart of the ship, and I love how light and open it is. It's a real game changer for Princess and for ship design, a total win in every aspect in my opinion. Okay, let's move on and talk about a little bit of a mystery and our first miss. The much lauded Park 19 activity area on Deck 19 has never opened, and by the looks of a recent statement, it may never open. No definitive reason has been given, but it's been said that it can't pass certain safety inspections. This is a major blow to the family-oriented target of this ship, taking away a major attraction. It might be for the better, only time will tell. What I would anticipate is the removal of the soft items from the area, but we aren't going to see any major changes until well after Star Princess is finished next year. Stay tuned to this channel for more announcements on this. Okay, this section is generally a hit. The entertainment options on board Sun Princess are outstanding, and I was a bit skeptical about the new Princess Arena. In my past, I worked in the theater, and this style of staging can be difficult, but I think they've pulled it off. Viva La Musica was a stunning show. The time went by in a heartbeat with authentic audience interaction and amazing staging. Can't talk entertainment without talking about the Dome. At Princess's request, I did very little filming, but it was a remarkable experience to have the acrobats and entertainers all around you. Amazing effects and performances. You'll definitely want to get there early though. Let's talk about the smaller venues. Princess Live featured the game shows and comedy, plus bingo and trivia. Crooners lived up to its name with nightly piano entertainment, although somewhat overshadowed by the sound coming from the Piazza. Speaking of the Piazza, Princess certainly used the new Piazza screen for games and of course the silent disco. They also featured bands, singers, and dancers as well. But I've left the best for last, and certainly the biggest turnaround for me from past ships. O'Malley's Irish Pub was a blast. Entertainer Corey Simon was a wizard on the piano, interacting with guests and mixing traditional Irish songs with modern favorites. O'Malley's is now self-contained and not shoved into a corner as an afterthought like on Enchanted Princess. It has a great look and feel as an Irish pub and was my favorite post-dinner hangout. I'm sure we're all going to have a dedicated video just for this.
ship lies waiting in the bay. Oh.
Let's move on to what I'm going to call a neutral review. The pools on board Sun Princess are certainly unique, but I find them a little undersized for a ship of this size. On our port-intensive Mediterranean cruise, which wasn't much of an issue, but a Caribbean cruise with a couple of sea days, I can see the lounge chair reservers will be out early. The dome pool was very unique with its indoor-outdoor option, and the Wakeview pool was equally unique with its see-through panels. The hot tubs are also too small and too few. Several smaller ships I've been on recently have opted for cantilevered infinity view designs along the sides of the ship. It's a really unique design that seems to accommodate more passengers. You of course have the sanctuary pool and the enclave hydrotherapy pool if you choose to pay for access there. Overall, there's a lot of options for pools on board and many different areas with sun loungers, but if you want the best seats, be sure to be up early. Now, let's eat. There's a ton of included dining options, and generally speaking, the food we had was quite good. Now, the trend continues with the main dining menus being smaller than they once were, and the Princess favorite items are not always listed, although you can ask. Now, not to be confused with the Horizon Court on most ships, the Horizons dining room is a spectacular 3-story dining venue at the aft of the ship, while the eatery is your served buffet area. The eatery is a bit of a mixed review and a bit controversial because while I'm a fan of the hygiene that a served buffet brings, it really does seem to slow things down, especially in the morning. There are a ton of service stations, so if it's busy midship, keep moving aft and see if it's better. We opted for the International Cafe or the dining room for breakfast most days. The quick service locations around the ship for burgers and hot dogs, tacos, pizza, salad were all very good. Honestly, the pizza at the pool area was as good as Alfredo's, so you might want to save your money. Certainly, there's no shortage of included dining venues to choose from, and as always, there's plenty of selection and the quality was quite good. One of the complaints I've heard over and over again when we did a preview of the ship was how people either loved or hated the modern look of the gray and beige. I remember saying at the time when previewing the ship, the artist's renderings are often overexposed and make things look washed out. This proved to be true. I didn't find things too neutral, and there were plenty of splashes of color around. The layout of the ship, as we said, is mostly centered around the Piazza, and I really found that for the size of the ship, it didn't take long to get anywhere and never felt crowded. There's so much public space to spread out. The real design miss here isn't unique to Sun Princess, but with most modern ships. The lack of a proper promenade deck that allows you to walk all the way around the ship unimpeded is a tradition that needs to come back. For me, that's where really you connect with the ocean, and if Princess wants to make these ships outward facing, then that's an excellent place to start. Sun Princess has such a variety of specialty restaurants and experiential dining options available to you, in addition to several exclusive wine tasting events. This is one area that Princess has invested heavily in, although I anticipate some changes still to come. I had the chance to visit Love by Brito restaurant during the day, and the view is stunning. It's not really my style of food, but there are plenty of reviews out there. The experience when I was there was $79, so middle of the road when it comes to the specialty dining. For me, Sabatini's is always a hit and didn't disappoint, although I found the atmosphere not as interesting as some of the older ships, and they were clearly trying to get as many tables in the space as they possibly could. The menu was outstanding and varied as usual. I didn't have the opportunity to try the Crown Grill or the Catch by Rudy or the Chef's Table this time, but I did try the Butcher's Block by Dario. This was a bit of a disappointment for us, and I've already done a dedicated review on it. Check it out. The meal was for the most part just meat served what was normally the buffet area. The crew were wonderful and engaging, but they couldn't overcome the venue and the menu. Spellbound had a similar strike against it when it came to dinner, and I've done a review on that one as well. Although here, the magic show, bar, and cocktails quickly overcame the rocky start to the evening. Check out the review and see if it's worth your time. Finally, Ume Tempranaki is a ton of fun, and how can you not enjoy singing some crazy songs while your chef flips your food all over the place? Considering this was my chef's first performance on board, he did an excellent job. The kids from the family who joined me at our table had a blast, and it was a definite hit and well worth the $45 cover charge. With the recent changes to Princess Premier and adding unlimited specialty dining, you'll want to make your reservations early. These venues will fill up quickly. One very unpopular change that Princess made a while back was to put a cover charge on the casual dining venues like Alfredo's Pizzeria. While I did enjoy our visit, there was really nothing special to write home about. They've dropped the pasta dishes from other ships off the menu, so it's exclusively pizza. I was traveling with Princess Premier and had unlimited casual dining, but we only used it the one time. Save your money and hit Lido Slice instead. There will always be people critical of the food quality or what's served. We each have our own tastes, of course. I feel like Princess has done a good job of having something for everyone and maintaining a decent quality and service level. Here's one feature that might surprise you, but I loved it. Princess put a ton of effort into its gangway and tender areas on this ship. The landing on Deck 4 is a large open area with a bar to get water, towels, and plenty of room to maneuver. The gangway itself has a unique technical design allowing the ship to have a variety of docking variations, better explained by Adam Savage in his web series for Princess. The other major change I really loved is the elevator controls, where you pick the floor on the screen on the outside of the elevator and are directed to a particular lift. This was well executed and really cut down on the milk run elevator rides or worse, stopping at every floor with no room for anyone to get on. What a difference from the Grand Class of ships and their disconnected Piazza elevators. Let's look quickly at the shopping on board. You of course have your Princess logo wear shop, duty-free and sundry items. There's also a Pandora and Diamonds International, both of which held no particular interest for my wife or myself. The watch shop with its first Breitling store was interesting, although I was good and didn't buy another watch. Interestingly enough, there are no art auctions or Princess Fine Arts on board. I do, however, see this returning on board the Star Princess where the watch shop is. We'll see if it makes a return to Sun Princess in the future. With so many bars on board, it was tough, but I think I tried most of them for you. You're welcome. We've already talked about O'Malley's Irish Pub on the entertainment side. Well, it was good for drinking too, so check it out. The Piazza area is host to Bellinis and crooners. When there are events in the Piazza, it can be tough to have a conversation. It can get quite loud. One disappointment for me was the Wheelhouse Bar. On other Princess ships, it has plush seating as host for trivia, bands, and more. On Sun, it's more like the waiting area bar for the reserve restaurant and is rarely open. It felt like a little tradition got lost there and they just slapped the name on that space. The Wakeview Bar is another area that just wasn't as good as its namesake before. The bar is on Deck 8 and near the pool, but with the pool effectively sitting on the deck, you can't properly see out the back of the ship, not much of a view. Plenty of lounges around with a good view, but it's not quite the same. Finally, let's talk about the Seaview Bar. This is an impressive view serving the Seaview Terrace at the front of the ship on Deck 16 and 17. I really wish I had more sea days just to sit up here and relax. This one really earned its name. I don't want to spend too much time on the Lotus Spa. It's not really my area of expertise, but I did have a week-long pass to the Enclave. This area was a lot of fun to come and relax after a long day on shore with the hydrotherapy pool, loungers, Himalayan salt sauna, traditional dry sauna, and of course a steam room. I've used the Enclave for similar features on board the Princess ships before, and like those, it's perfectly adequate. For me, this time it wasn't worth the money because I really didn't have the sea days to take the time to come down and enjoy it properly. At $149 for the week, Really do your math before committing to it. This is just one money-saving tip we have in our 16 ways to save money in your next Princess Cruise video. Be sure to check that out because who doesn't like saving money? This isn't really a hit or a miss because the Sanctuary is about to undergo a radical change on board the Sun Princess. Right now, you pay $99 per day per person to relax in this exclusive area of the ship, but as you can see, it's woefully underused during our visit. Starting in October, when the ship reaches Florida, the Sanctuary Collection will debut, bringing life to Princess's ship-within-a-ship concept, like other cruise lines. Those staying in designated staterooms and suites will have access to the Sanctuary area as part of their cruise fare. The cabanas will be rented at an additional charge. This is probably a smart strategy on Princess's part because this is a massive area that was very empty. This will move more passengers from the main pool areas and free up some space on what I've already said are pools that might be too small for the Caribbean. Time will tell, but if you are someone who enjoys the Sanctuary and you don't mind paying, leave a comment with your thoughts. We'll have a video on this soon and we'll link it here. We've covered an awful lot of topics here, and we need to come to some kind of conclusion. Was Sun Princess a hit or a miss overall? Can Princess stake its future on the Sphere class of ships? I really have to deem it a hit. I really thought that she felt more like a ship than the Enchanted, Sky, or Discovery Princesses. They never seemed to have the soul of a ship, even compared to the Grand or Coral class. They just felt big. I think that has to do with the extensive use of glass and the Sphere itself. You can see the sea from so many vantage points around the ship. Large windows that bring light and openness that you don't get on many modern ships. Don't get me started on the Royal Caribbean floating shopping malls. I know personally when I sail I want to feel the ocean, I don't mind some rough weather and movement. It's part of the experience for me. And while Sun Princess was big and stable, that openness really let me connect with the ocean more like a 900 passenger ship than a 5,000 passenger one. Kudos to Princess on fixing O'Malley's and making it something special, for taking a risk on a unique experience like Spellbound or changing the way we see theater with the dome in the arena. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. The Park 19 debacle is a disappointment, as is some of the dining venues, but nothing that can't be looked at, fixed on Sun and the forthcoming Star Princess and beyond. My only hope is that Princess keeps their smaller ships like the Island and Coral or Grand class of ships in tip-top shape so we have options. I don't always want to travel on a mega ship. Sometimes smaller is better and we want that choice. What I love more than anything is reading your comments and answering your questions. So be sure to do that right after you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to watch our other Princess videos on saving money and of course Princess Plus and Premier. You'll also want to stay in the know as Princess releases details on the new Star Princess launching in 2025, along with future Sphere class ships. We'll preview these new features and follow the builds. Thanks for watching.